Om. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Jnaneshwari, chapter 7, Ajnana Khandana. And meaning ignorance denied. We are in OV number 114. And here it said that the self, having established the principle, the question remains, what is the position of ignorance? And what is that is established? It was established that the self cannot objectify itself. Just as the vision cannot see the eye, the mind cannot think it about itself. Similarly, the self cannot objectify itself. So then what is the position of ignorance? Here it was told that when we see the multitude of names and forms, again the ignorance has to be accepted. So when we see the variety, we immediately our attention comes to the ignorance. And here it was told that the variety is adhyasa. Adhyasa means superimposition. Superimposition cannot be on nothing. Superimposition, for superimposition to happen, some substratum has to be there. A common denominator has to be there. The waves are superimposed on water. The ornaments are superimposed on the gold. The roles that we play are superimposed on us. And in this way, and what is the position of superimposition? Or what is the position of adhyas? Adhyas is mithya. It is not there, but appears to be there. And here we saw last week bit of this verse, and now towards the end, the adhyasa or superimposition takes place at two levels for this. And what is that one? One is the level of the perceiver or the knower, meaning seer, hearer, toucher, feeler, taster, thinker, imaginer, experiencer, knower, wherever this is there. So who is this This is essentially consciousness. The I is essentially the pure consciousness, but imagining itself. Only imagining, not real. Imagining itself to be the known. Imagining itself to be the known. And in reference to that known, it is taking on a role. And what is that role? As the knower, as the experiencer, as the observer, as the seer, etc. So first is at the conscious level. What is that? We say conscious level, but actually it is only at thought level. So one is the perceiver or the knower or the experiencer, and the second is the known level. Perceiver cannot express as perceiver if there is nothing to be perceived, isn't it? if there is no known object, if there is no object, subject has got no meaning. If there is nothing called known, then there is no need for the knower. So knower and known, they are coexisting. Subject and object are coexisting. Where there is no object to be known, the knower goes back to being the essential self, as in deep sleep. But we don't know that. We think we don't know it. So come to know. You have programmed yourself in such a deep way. So at the level of perceiver, the knower, and at the level of the known, these are the two levels where the adhyasa appears. The first adhyasa is at the level of the snake, and the second at the level of the rope. The one who sees the snake on the rope and suffers, and the one who sees the rope as rope and does not suffer are two different personalities, because the same person cannot be deluded and not deluded. Thus, the adhyasa is at two levels. So, we see in this creation also, when in our experience also, some are suffering from the snake, and some know that the snake is not there, and therefore they are happy lifting the rope or playing with the rope. Similarly, we see in the world that some people, well, majority people, suffering with the interactions with the world, and only a rare few who have recognized that the world is only an adhyas and are attentive of the substratum that there is, and therefore no misery. Which one we are? Are we the miserable one, or are we the happy one? Happy one does not mean that you have to remove the world. Means you have all you can do, because you did not create the world, it came. You don't create it object by object. It happens every day. So then what is the way out? That's not the point here, but our journey is to ourselves. So that has to... So what do we do with the world then? Remain undisturbed by the world. Remain unaffected by the world. Remain uninfluenced by the world. That is the way. And so he says, so there are two types. One who is miserable because he is not attentive of the substratum, the rope, and is seeing that which is not there, the snake, and therefore suffering. Seeing that which is not there. How do we suffer? What is that which we do not see and suffer? We do not see that we are the Satchidanand Swarup, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup Atma, and therefore we suffer. So when we don't see that, what we are in essence, then what do we project? I am the body, I am the mind, I had a past life, I have a future life, I have to achieve, I have to secure, I have to do this, and suffering begins. This is suffering. World means, another word for world means suffering. Dukkham, dukkham. And the other person who sees the substratum, who sees the rope as a rope, then the miserable entity is gone. In that example, if we see ourselves as the Atma, at that very moment, the subject object is vanished. You are the eternal subject then. You understand? So it is not that the snake has vanished, the world has vanished, and I am still there waiting for something. Is there anything else to vanish? Is there anything else I have to fish out from my subconscious mind and then remove it? The moment I come to know that I am the constant principle, that very moment, all the adhyas, all the superimposition goes away in toto. The moment you come to know the rope, that very moment, the snake goes away in toto, not in bits and pieces. Completely it vanishes. And then even if you want to look for it, you will not find it. That is the thing. Then he says, first, at the level of Chit Vastu, that is the consciousness, where a felicitous entity called Chidabhasa is born with reference to the adhyasa of the snake or on the rope. Chidabhasa is the fictitious entity. What is Chidabhasa? Chid Abhasa. What was the other? Adhyasa. Superimposition. What is Abhasa? An imagination. The reflected consciousness is Chidabhasa. What will it reflect upon? For reflected consciousness to appear, if this lamp is reflecting, you need an object to reflect, isn't it? Or no? Yes or no? You need an object for the light to reflect. Some object. It can be book, it can be table, it can be the floor, it can be the wall, it can be my hand, whatever. It requires an object for it to. So the light is falling on the book, and compared to the table, that book, which is white in color, it is reflecting more light than the dark table, isn't it? So when we say there is Chidabhasa, what is that Chidabhasa? What is that Chidabhas? Reflected consciousness. Consciousness is of the nature of light. Can the light reflect? Can the light reflect with the object of light? Cannot. Can the light become the object of light? Not possible, no. Similarly, can consciousness become an object of consciousness? Not possible. So it requires something else other than consciousness on which to reflect. And what is that something else on which it reflects? That is the object. What is the object? It is the superimposition. Something that is imagined on the reality. Just like the snake is something that is imagined on the rope, similarly, objectivity is imagined on the substratum. On that imagination, now, if this is the book, on that imagination, what is that imagination object? Imaginary object, a thought, for example. On that thought, what is a thought made up of? You should know this. What is the thought made up of?
Mind.
What is the thought made up of?
Subject, object, and instrument of object.
Correct. Subject, object, and instrument of knowledge. Triputi. This is the ingredients that go into making any thought. And these three come with every thought and go away with every thought. Then again they come with every thought and go away with every thought. So, last week we were explaining, I think it somewhere, if there is a general light in which the object is illumined and there is a specific light on that object, where that specific light falls, that is the Chidabhas. So if my hand is here in general light, I am seeing the whole hand. But in that pointed place, there is more brightness than rest of the hand. That point where there is more light, concentrated light, because not because the light is concentrated, light is the same, but because this particular part of my body, see here, it is more tight, it is more refined, therefore the reflection is greater than the rest of the hand. So that point is called the Chidabhas, the reflected consciousness. See, that is where the I comes, the I thought comes, and rest of it is the object. See. So here it says, at the level of Chit Vastu, the consciousness, where a fallacious entity called Chidabhas is born with reference to the adhyasa of snake on the rope. So, subject is with reference to the object, the knower is with reference to the known, isn't it? And go on, seer with reference to the seen, just like husband is with reference to the woman, the wife. Is man the husband? No. Man is man. So, where is the husband? He is in the reflection of the wife or the woman. So, is the reflection in the consciousness? No. That reflection is an imagination with reference to the object or the thought. See? So this way you understand. Second part, when the seer has stopped seeing the snake and starts seeing the rope, the snake disappears, as also the one who has been suffering because he has seen the illusory snake. So the moment snake disappears, for whatever reason, the guru came, the scripture studied, by grace of God, whatever, because of Nam Japa or sadhana, whatever, the moment the snake disappears, that very moment, the one who was suffering because of the snake, he also disappears. The moment objectivity disappears, that very moment, the imaginary or the relative I also disappears. The Chidabhas also disappears. Chidabhas requires some reference. If there is no reference in the mind, where is the Chidabhas? So between your two thoughts at this moment, there is a gap between at and this, and there is a gap between this and moment. Is there a Chidabhas there? Is there a I there? No, but I feel I am continuous. Yes, that continuous feeling is of the Atma. But when I am thinking a thought and when I am not thinking, when the mind is thinking a thought and not thinking a thought, when there is no thought, there is no I. If you say I am not thinking, then again you have made zero into an object, emptiness into an object. You are fooling yourself. See? And therefore, we need to slow down. One of the exercises that we have seen, slow down the frequency of thoughts. Then you will be able to catch what we are saying just now. Now also it is quiet. You should be able to catch it. See? So when there is no snake, there is no the experiencer of the snake is also no longer there. Man is there, the person is there, but the one who was experiencing the snake, so experiencer was with reference to the snake. So who was experiencing? The one who was experiencing the snake. Now the snake has vanished. The one who was experiencing the snake has also vanished. Like, for example, I am seeing you. So the moment my attention, at this moment many things are happening and they are happening very fast. Seeing is happening, hearing is happening, talking is happening, hand movement is happening. So it's happening very fast. With everything, there is the eye is coming again and again and again and again, and an imaginary continuation of I is seen at the thought level, which is called ego. But if we slow it down, this imaginary continuation starts vanishing, because gaps start appearing. And when gaps start appearing, we just said in the gap there is no object. If there is no object, there is no I. Then what is there? If there is no I thought in the gap, then the supreme I is there, the real I is there, which is beyond the thought, which is in spite of the thought. So when I am seeing you, you are the reference, and immediately the vision comes about. If I ask you a question and you answer very quickly, even though I am seeing, but my attention is now not on seeing, but my attention now is on hearing. Who is here? Who is talking? And I become the hearer. So at that moment when I become hearer, what happened to the seen and the seer? What happened to the seer and seen? Keep that in your mind. When you are in front of your husband, with reference to husband, your wife, that time your child comes. Now, with reference to your child, you are the mother. Where has the reference called husband, and where has the resultant I, which is the wife, where has the wife and the husband gone? The moment you shift your attention to the child and the mother, with reference to the child, the mother comes out. Can in the mother the wife express? Is it possible? Not possible.
No.
Not possible, isn't it? So just at sensory level, only one thing at a time we can do. When we move from one thing to the next, the previous triputi, the triad, has to become null and void, isn't it? I've given you in your relationships, in your thoughts, same thing with the emotions, and same thing is happening with every thought. If you have moved to the next thought, the previous thought becomes null and void. You are imagining a continuity in all the thoughts. Exactly the same way, when the objectivity of the snake, the imaginary superimposed snake is gone, and the rope appears. When the rope appears, at that time the snake disappears, and the fear due to snake, or the experiencer who was present, who was afraid of that snake, both of them disappear. Now apply it to yourself. When you snake, the variety, snake, the multiplicity, snake, the projection, snake, the horrendous dream that you had, and suddenly you wake up, what happens to the dream? Null and void after you wake up. That stupid fellow, I became afraid of that. But in the dream, the object because of which the dreamer was afraid, was very real. But who was afraid? The dreamer. And when you wake up, then what happens? The dreamer also vanishes. The object because of which the fear was there, that also vanishes, isn't it? Now, in the waking, what is the fear, what is the misery due to? What object, what that object could be phobia, thought fixation, fear, lack of self-confidence, lack of self-esteem, uh, 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 thought of anger, greed, jealousy, etc., etc., lack of fear of security, fear of death. All these are objects. And because of each one, a certain personality comes out, isn't it? These are all the snakes. And you come back to being the and what do you mean by seeing the snake, seeing the rope? You see everything as it is. What is that? Atma. Atma is the substratum. With respect to the world, what is the Atma? Existence is the Atma of the world, of names and forms. And what is the Atma with reference to all the thoughts and the subtle and causal mind? It is the consciousness. So once you come to this existence and consciousness, once you come to recognize that you are all that there is, that very moment, the misery due to the objects or objectivity and the resultant role that comes up as a result of that objectivity, whether it is hearer, seer, knower, experiencer, waker, dreamer, sleeper, all of them vanish away. They cannot exist. In other words, all the objectivity, all the subjects and objects are only imagined, are only superimposed on the true self that I am, pure self that I am. But you said that consciousness reflects and that reflection becomes the subject and object. Yeah, that is only to explain. Because that's the best way we can explain, because the scriptures are doing it so. But because we are telling you a story of reflected consciousness and that reflected consciousness becoming subject and object does not mean that it is true. It's only a true story. True is that which never goes out of existence. Correct? True is that which is ever constant. Thoughts are not constant. Subject, object as thoughts are not constant. Then it is a story. Truth is other than the story. Truth is other than the changing. And that I am. That I am. So where is the place of ignorance? The rope was before the snake appeared, rope was during the appearance of the snake, and when the snake disappeared, rope continued to be. So either you say that the snake was before, during, and after, or if that is not your experience, your conclusion is no, there was snake. Something happened to my eyes that I imagined the snake to be rope. So correct your vision to see this whole world as Satchidanand Swarup. When you see the world as Satchidanand Swarup, then what is the after effect? There is no world. The knower of the world and the known world both vanish, because both were superimpositions. On what? On the constant principle. What is that constant principle? I am. The buck stops with with me, the true me, not with the thinking me, with the true me, with the absolute I. This is the analysis that is to be done. Then where is the ignorance? Ignorance leads to fear, ignorance leads to desire, ignorance leads to karma. All this goes out of the window then. So all this explanation is only because we have not accepted ourselves as the pure self, the constant self. Because we are thinking of ourselves to be an individual, to be only the waker, to be a person. Therefore, to dissolve that personality, all this thinking is there so that this person comes to recognize his true nature. And that is the purpose of life. Continuing. Both these personalities, the one who was deluded into seeing the snake and the one who saw the rope and was not deluded, are governed by one principle which is abundantly present in both, but beyond both. Correct? There is one principle called the body without which the mother cannot express, the wife cannot express. Is wife the body, a woman? Is only the mother the woman? No. This woman is supporting both the roles of mother and wife, but is beyond the mother and wife. Isn't it? Similarly, that principle is beyond the one who becomes deluded by the snake and fears the snake, and is not deluded by the snake, now sees the rope. Both of them are supported. The fear and no fear, the acceptance of delusion and acceptance of acceptance of the snake and acceptance of the rope, both is done by some person. One was deluded and one was not deluded. One was projecting, the other was not projecting. Isn't it? But who are these two personalities? One is fearless, one is fearful. Both of them are supported by one which is unaffected by appearance or disappearance of both of them. Just as sun is supporting both the sun, day and the night, but is unaffected by the day and night, uninfluenced by the day and night. So who am I? I am that who is supporting the waker, dreamer and sleeper, but uninfluenced by the waker, dreamer and sleeper. But how do I live my life? To be only influenced by the waker. Majorly. Actually, sleep is also influencing us. We have accepted ourselves that way. If I don't sleep for 2 days, oh my God, I think I'm losing it. And if some terrible dream comes, then again there is a reaction. So I had chosen myself, chosen to be that who is influenced by the three superimpositions, waker, dreamer and sleeper. And who am I essentially? The undisturbed one. Recognize this and be free. Only recognition is required. The presence and absence of the waves is supported by the ocean, which is not influenced by both situations. The ocean is beyond the pratyaya of asti nasti, is and is not. Because a wave appears, the ocean doesn't become less. And because the wave merges back into its source, ocean doesn't become more. Because the water evaporates from the ocean, ocean doesn't become less. Because the rivers pour into the ocean, ocean doesn't become more. It remains the same. Same way, appearance of thoughts and disappearance of thoughts, it should not affect us. I continue to be the same. Appearance of waking dream and deep sleep and absence of waking dream and deep sleep, it should not disturb us. I am the Sakshi, I am the eternal, I am the eternal witness. But we live contrary to this, what was just said. Reacting, responding, attaching, detaching to everything that is coming. We take that role and suffer. Recognize yourself. Nothing has to be done. Just recognize that you are the eternal one in whose presence all are coming and going. No, I have to drop the waker, then come to the dreamer, then I have to drop the dreamer, then I have to come to the sleeper, then sleep. I don't know how long this sleep will. I try to remain awake in sleep, but it catches me every time. How will I realize myself? Vaikhari madhyama pashyanti para. You are creating a journey where there is no journey. So on one side, you keep doing that practice, and on the other side, you understand that you are the eternal one, that you are the constant one. When will it click? It can click right now, but if you feel that something has to be done, then lage raho. So it is said that karyadhyasa and karmadhyasa, karanadhyasa, karyadhyasa and karanadhyasa come and go, but the substratum supporting them, the knower and the known, is one without a second. Adhyasa, karyadhyasa is and karana, the cause and effect. The cause and effect come and go. Karyadhyasa is effect and karanadhyasa is the cause. So this illusion of cause and effect. What is relativity? Relativity is nothing but cause and effect. Get out of this cause effect. Biggest cause and effect. I am the cause, my children are the effects. Gone. Phase raho. Stuck. Can't come out of it. Second, even subtler than that. I am the thinker of the thoughts. Gone. I am the cause and the thoughts are coming to me. Gone. The world is, in this world, the life, people are getting born and people are going out of this world. Gone. World is the cause and we are the effects. Stop living at cause and effect. And because cause and effect is only at the adhyas level, at the superimposition level. So where is superimposition? As much as wave is a superimposition on the waters, ocean is also a superimposition of the waters, on the waters. And we create a relationship between the ocean and the wave, which is also a superimposition. And what is that superimposition? Ocean is the cause and wave is the effect. And what is the rule? Every effect must have a cause. Every wave the cause of every wave is the ocean. What is the second rule? Cause alone expresses as different effects. Ocean alone is appearing as many waves. This is good to explain initial stages, but not in the text that we are doing. You have to go beyond that. So when you take the world to be real, this sounds very plausible, isn't it? That ocean is the cause, wave is the effect. Ocean alone is expressing through every wave. But both are imaginary. As much as wave is imaginary, ocean is also imaginary. Then what is real? Only water. And from water's point of view, there is no ocean and there is no wave, yet that water is supporting the ocean and the wave which do not exist. The presence and absence of ocean and wave is supported by that which is beyond the ocean and the wave. Appearance and presence and absence of our experience of life is supported by that which is beyond that which is supported. What is the presence? Waking and dream. What is absence? Deep sleep. Both are supported. And what is waking and dream? It is waker plus waking world plus waking body. What is dream? Dreamer plus dream world plus dream instruments. Think a little bit with a cool mind. Everything just opens up. The substratum supporting them, the knower and the known, is one without a second. So substratum behind the knower and the known keep changing. The waker as the knower and the waking world as the known. The dreamer as the knower and the dream world as the known. It keeps changing, isn't it? Every time you blink, the world has changed. With every breath, the world has changed. Every moment, the change is happening. We have to slow down. When everything is going fast, there is a seeming continuity. You slow down. As you slow down, continuity remains, but no longer of the objects. You come to fall back into the true continuous principle that is the self. And all that which is discontinuous starts dropping away. Sat is the refusal of the Chit to be influenced by the names and forms. Beautifully said by Swamiji. Sat is the refusal of the Chit to be influenced by names and forms. Sat is what? Existence. Have we accepted that we are the constant existence behind every experience that is taking place at this moment? Sat is the refusal of the Chit. Existence is the refusal of the consciousness to be influenced by the names and forms. Refusal of the consciousness to be influenced by names and forms. Where is consciousness? Outside? No, I am the consciousness. I refuse to be influenced. I refuse to be dictated. I refuse to be enslaved by what? The thoughts, names and forms. Subtle thoughts, subtle names and forms or outside names and forms, then I'll come to see that this consciousness alone is existence. As you slow down because the onslaught of names and forms appearing on your mind as thoughts, when they reduce, when thoughts reduce, you don't reduce. You continue to be. Thoughts are reducing. When enough reduction has taken place, this unspoken realization that the substratum, I am the consciousness, which is the substratum, without me, thoughts cannot come and go. I am the basis, I am the consciousness that I am alone is the foundation, the common denominator on which these thoughts are coming and going. So they're not coming and going on something else. The waves are not coming and going on something else. They are coming and going on water. They are water. But you were not recognizing water because your attention was on the form called wave or the form called ocean, total form called ocean. Same way, our attention is on the form called thoughts or the outside world which appear as thoughts. And as long as we are obsessed with the thoughts, till then we will remain in this delusion of individuality. So to recognize that consciousness alone is existence, only understanding is required. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be done. Only you have to understand this is your true nature. When the triputi of knower known knowledge disappears, the objective world also ceases to exist as the known. This I have already explained. When the triputi goes away, where is the triputi? Waker, waking world, waking experience. Dreamer, dream world, dream experience. Both of them go, what is left? Zero. What is that? Sleep? No. So in that case, therefore the sadhana is told that remain awake in deep sleep. But we can't do. So you can do it only here and now. So what is appearance? A thought is an appearance. When the thought goes away, what is next? There is another thought, sir. Then what do? Keep chanting. Slowly, slowly, you will start seeing gap between the thoughts. Now you have to reassess. What is happening in the gap? What is happening before the gap? Before the gap, there was a thought. Thought was made up of triputi, knower, known, knowing, seer, seen, seeing, hearer, heard, hearing, experiencer, experienced, experiencing. This is how the subject, object, and instrument are knowledge. This is a thought. So before the gap, there was a thought. Did you remove the thought? No, it came by itself, it went away by itself. So before, when the thoughts were going too fast, what is after the thought? Another thought. What is after the second thought? Third thought. But as we slow down, Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti Para, or just before going to sleep, or whenever you are sitting and taking a chill pill, As the thoughts slow down, play this game. Okay, Triputi is going away. Now silence is coming. Is this an inert silence or a conscious silence? Is it an inert silence or conscious silence?
Conscious silence.
Ah. So come to this. Keep playing the game. The game is to observe the triad, which is one triad, which is one thought, equal to one thought. These are the three components in one thought, and no thought can be formed without the three. If one is missing, there is no thought. If the subject is not there, there is no thought. If the object is not there, there is no thought. If the instrument of knowledge is not there, gross or subtle, there is no thought. So, but as we slow down and the gap starts appearing between the thoughts, at that time, don't get into the void. At that time, don't again project, oh, it is, I'm ignorant. No, like you do in sleep. You are there. And recognize that in your presence, the absence is also happening. And in your presence, the appearance of the triad is also taking place. In other words, presence and absence of thoughts is taking place or cannot happen without you being there. You are, because you did not create the thought, thought appeared. You did not make it stay, or you did not make it disappear. It is the nature of the thought, of the phenomena, to appear and disappear. It is the nature of the day and night to appear and disappear. It is the nature of the rainbow to appear and disappear. It is the nature of the mirage waters to appear and disappear, but they appear and disappear under set circumstances, not any time they want. Conditions have to be right. Exactly the same way, under certain conditions, only certain thoughts will come. In front of your child, the thought of husband will not come looking at the child. Only the thought of mother will come, or the child will come. Recognize this. Recognize this. And you did not create that, it's happening. When the triputi of knower known knowledge disappears, the objective world ceases to exist as the known. One is no more influenced by objective perception, and the chit vastu seer itself becomes the sat vastu seen. So when everything has collapsed, what has collapsed? The subject and object have collapsed. They have become dissolved, because that is what the phenomena is doing. It appears, it disappears. So when it disappears, has the seer disappeared? When the objective thought has disappeared, now there is nothing. Nothing is not an object. Has the seer disappeared? Has the seer disappeared?
In the reference of the object, Swamiji, seer disappeared.
No, wrong conclusion. I'm talking about absence. In absence, has the seer disappeared? That is where my question is. So objects have gone away. Now there is absence of object. In the presence of the object, there was a seer of the object. When the object has gone away, what has happened to the seer? Don't think. Be the seer right now.
It's gone.
It's not gone.
Still there, but that scene is
It
not
has
there.
transformed into the eternal seer. It has transformed into here the words that are used is, it has become the existence where there is nothing. When there is nothing, there is no object. It is the existence itself. The seer is there. You are still present. You are not absent. In the absence of the object, meaning in the absence of the triad, you have not become absent. In the absence, you are not absent. Absence is with reference to the triad. Absence is not with reference to you. So when we say the thoughts, the thought of the laptop, now there is no thought of the laptop. The laptop thought has gone away. With that, the knower of the laptop went away, but I still continues. I still continue. One is no more influenced by objective perceptions, and the chit vastu, the seer, itself becomes the chit vastu seen, and it is not happening in a linear way. Sat and chit is me alone, the true me alone. Then where does the sat and the chit get hijacked? The moment objectivity appears, it appears to be hijacked. Because I am not seeing the sat in spite of objectivity, I am giving validity to the objectivity, to the appearance, therefore it gets hijacked by the appearance. Because I am not seeing the rope, I am giving validity to the snake, therefore the undisturbed me with reference to the rope and the disturbed me with reference to the snake. But I am the one who is other than disturbed or not disturbed. I am other than the seer of the snake, and I am other than the seer of the rope. You understand? Or shouldn't say absence of the snake. You can put it that way also. So I am other than the seer of the waking and dream. I am other than the seer of the absence of the waking and dream. Meaning, in other words, I am other than the presence and absence. In the presence, there is triputi. In the absence, there is no triputi. Correct? And who am I? Other than both. I'm other than both. I'm other than the presence of triputi, and I'm other than the absence of triputi. That moment, when this realization dawns, the Sat and Chit are one. But if we keep giving validity to the referential objects, then you will keep playing the referential role. We have given too much value to the referential waking world of objects. Therefore, we keep taking the referential waker with respect to the waking world to be real, and give zero value to the dreamer and the sleeper. Either you give the dreamer also the equal value as in the waking, and the sleeper also the same value as in the waking, or you give waker also zero value as you give the zero value to the dream dream triputi. You're living very, I like it, so I live like this. I don't like it, so I don't want to go into the nothingness. Only waking we have given importance. The triad, the triputi. When Sat and Chit, knower known, have become one, it is called Ananda. Their love becomes natural. When you recognize, when you come to this point where Sat, Chit alone is Sat and Sat alone is Chit, exists, I know that I am. This is the conclusion. And I know that I am one without a second. The impact of that is that everything else that is referential, the referential world, it's only appearing on me and disappearing on me. Because it is appearing and disappearing, I am not appearing and disappearing. Because wave is appearing and disappearing, water is not appearing and disappearing. Because the pots are appearing and disappearing, the mud is not appearing and disappearing. Because the triputi is appearing and disappearing, I am not appearing and disappearing. This understanding brings us to the self that I am as the substratum on which all the triputis are coming and going. We think, we have said many times, isn't it, that all the thoughts come in the container of the mind. But the mind is nothing but consciousness. So when mind becomes undisturbed by the appearance and disappearance of the thoughts, there you are. Because in the mind, the aham vritti is there. In the mind alone, absence of aham vritti is there. Because aham vritti has vanished from the mind, you have not vanished. You continue to be there. Contemplate in this manner. And once one comes to know that Sat and Chit are one, then ecstasy, horripilation, ananda, then the tears flow, hair stand on end. These are initial symptoms. What is the ultimate symptom? Maunam vyakhyat prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. Then silence. Because then there is nothing to do or not do. There is nothing to achieve or not achieve. There is nothing to run towards or run away from. Because everything I am only. In this way, the karana karya, cause and effect, are only adhyasatmaka. Cause and effect is only imaginary. Now you will understand. God is the cause and the world is the effect. Oh Bhagwan, oh God, why did you create all these problems in my life? Oh God, thank you for all the success in my life. He is the cause, you are the effect. Get out of it. Get out of it. Or understand God in his correct nature. Who is Ishvara? Ishvara knows he is the Parabrahma Paramatma. And Ishvara is he who is uninfluenced by his Shakti. What is Shakti? Triputi. At the totality level, what is Shakti? Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Here also, the Triputi, subject, object and instrument of knowledge is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. Subject is Sattvic, the object is Tamasic, and the instrument of knowledge is a Rajasic. See how it all connects? मजेदार, सोचने लगो तो एकदम मजा आ जाता है. But this type of contemplation goes only in satsang by ourselves. It happens, but you have to make your mind focused, then it happens. And it must happen, we have to focus and take it in so deep and that it happens naturally. You don't have to think and make it happen. Let it just like naturally the wife or the mother expresses out of you. Similarly, naturally you should, the thoughts of contemplation must come. They are only superimposition supported by the substratum which is one without a second. The cause and effect. So what is the cause and effect in waking dream and deep sleep? Deep absence is the cause, deep sleep is the cause, and waking and dream is the effect. Totality is the cause and individuality is the effect. But where is this cause and effect? Am I a effect or am I the cause? Or am I transcendental to both? Think clearly. So here he says that they are only superimposition, cause and effect. As much as the wave is an imagination on water, that much the wave is the effect. That much the cause, the ocean, is also an imagination on the water. One is a teeny weeny conditioning, the other is a big conditioning. That's all. How big? I can't see the horizon. I can't see the contours of the ocean. But I know this is called Indian Ocean. This is called Southern Ocean. I know this is called Pacific Ocean. From where the conditioning is? From Australia all the way to America is Pacific Ocean. But the water is beyond Pacific also. But that is called another ocean. So waves in the Pacific Ocean are the effect of Pacific Ocean. Waves in Atlantic Ocean are effects of Atlantic Ocean. Stupid, isn't it? Come to the principle. Principle is cause and effect. As much as individuality is a phenomena, totality is also a phenomena. Then what is beyond phenomena? The self, the truth, the pure consciousness. Get out of cause and effect. That is the reality, not ignorance. Ignorance is cause. Ignorance expresses as cause and effect. Well, I'll take that statement back because here we are denying ignorance. So if I say, hey, see, when we say ignorance is expressing as cause and effect, we have given validity to cause and effect. When we say mirage waters, the moment words come, I see the mirage waters, we have given validity. But neither can we drink the water of mirage waters. Neither can we swim in the mirage waters. Neither can we collect the mirage waters and store them. But your eyes are seeing it. Your mind is articulating it. And because you see a phenomena and because you are articulating and giving it a word, doesn't mean that it becomes real. As much as illusory that mirage water is or that rainbow is, that much illusory your dream is also. Same phenomena, isn't it? But we forget that the waking is also similar. It is also a phenomena. The world is therefore not the creation of ignorance which disappears the moment it presents itself in the form of names and forms, but is the manifestation of reality. Our realization, if you want to say complete realization, one realization is on the seat of meditation, which is Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I am the self, I have come to know the self. But you know self is one without a second. Then how do you convert this self on the seat of meditation into the one without a second self? How does it transform? By this type of thinking, by this type of contemplation. Is it that on the ocean, on the quiet waters, first ignorance appeared, and then that ignorance gave rise to names and forms called ocean and wave? Is it like that? Is it that the infinite reality, he first got influenced by ignorance? The reality forgot itself. The reality forgot itself. Sometimes in Shankar Bhasha we say that what is delusion, illusion? Delusion is forgetfulness of the self, and because of that forgetfulness of the self, illusion is projection. This is how we say. So is it that that infinite reality first got deluded, meaning it forgot its true nature? It became ignorant of its true nature, and as a result, it projected all the names and forms. Is it that way? Sir, I don't know. I don't know how God thinks. I don't know how the Ishvara thinks. Then apply on yourself. Just now, what exercise we had done in contemplation? Was there any time that you were not conscious? Every Triputi is appearing on the surface of consciousness. When there is no Triputi, consciousness alone is existence. When in that existence some wave comes up, some objectivity comes up on that quiet waters, when a wave comes up, what is the wave made up of? Nothing but that water, isn't it? So when that Triputi comes up, when that object comes up, object comes up, immediately subject also, simultaneously, same moment it happens. But what is the material that has gone into the Triputi? The self. So existence gives rise to the object, the consciousness gives rise to the subject. Both of them come about and the Triputi is formed. So what is the subject? The Triputi, what is it pervaded by? It is pervaded by the self. Where is it existing? It is existing in the self. What is the material that has gone into the Triputi? It is nothing but the self. Then why am I not realizing it? Because you are looking at the name and form. Your attention is not the substrat or not on the substratum. You are looking at the snake. You are not looking at the rope. You are looking at the projection. You are not looking at the substratum. Whose fault is that? So when we recognize that the whole world is nothing but thoughts, thought is nothing but Tripuri, Tripuri cannot appear outside the self, just like wave cannot appear outside the water, Tripuri cannot appear outside the self. Tripuri is not the result of ignorance. Tripuri is not the result of cause and effect. Tripuri is the nature of the mind. Mind is nothing but consciousness. Story over. Now suddenly what has happened? That Tripuri, that world which we know only by way of Tripuri, suddenly we have come to that every Tripuri is, all Triputis are nothing but the substratum. Suddenly the whole world is nothing but divine. That consciousness which I accessed on the seat of meditation in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, suddenly explodes into all pervasiveness. This is the final. There is nothing after that. At understanding level. Now you have to realize. To realize, you have to be that. Don't keep working it out all the time. Be it also. And when we are at the mercy of the onslaught of names and forms of the world, by way of objects, by way of wealth, by way of relations, then what silence you are accessing right now, the disposition that you are in now, that sometimes gets watered down. It gets lost as if in the onslaught of the experiences of the world. When too many thoughts are coming in the mind, meaning too many Triputis are coming in the mind, a new entity is created called ego. You slow it down, ego dissolves by itself. You come to this realization that, hey, I am the basis of everything. I am everything, not basis of everything. Slow down, slow down, slow down. And to slow down, contemplation in this manner is required. One without a second, just lip service is not enough. It has to be thought out in this manner. Subjectively. The world is therefore not the creation of ignorance, which disappears the moment it presents itself in the form of names and forms, but is the manifestation of reality. So, names and forms are not the effect of ignorance, but they are manifestations of reality. Because the upadan and in technical terms, the eminent, the material that has gone into the Triputi, the thoughts, names and forms, is nothing but the reality. And the creator is also the reality. In this way, come to be the Satchidananda Swarup, and in this way, there is no place for ignorance to exist. There is no Ajnana. There is only the self, which is one without a second, which expresses as Satchidananda. Chit, either you accept yourself as the individual Chit or the total Chit, or that witnessing consciousness which is unaffected by the appearance and disappearance of the relative chit, relative consciousnesses, by the presence and absence of the relative consciousness, then you will recognize that this chit is alone Sat. And on this substratum alone, all the Triputis are coming and going. The Sat appears as the objects, the Chit appears as the I, subject. And the drama goes on. Drama will not stop. You have to create the window within it to recognize your true nature. Just like life has created a window for you to be born as a human being, to realize. Only through human beingness or through the human being form you can realize. So this is the window. Life is infinite. Similarly, in our mind, we have to create a space, we have to create a window of opportunity by slowing down, by not reacting, to recognize who we essentially are. After that, the drama will still continue. For whom? For others. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.